Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to get back on the Suzuki RM400 frame. We've already had some repairs that we've done to that frame, and this should be the end of it, hopefully. So after this, if we don't run into something else, we can. I'm gonna get it painted, and then we can start assembly of this machine. We've done quite a bit of repairs to the frame already. I think we had to replace a seat mount, and we also had a hole in one of the bottom tubes, the frame tube. Patched that, and we split a tube and laid it underneath and stitch welded it onto the existing tubes to act as kind of a stiffener slash skid plate, if you will, for the two bottom pieces of tubing. So we've already worked quite a bit on it. This one is probably going to be pretty intense. It does a lot. It's the lower rear engine mount, and it also is the one that supports the brake stay and the chain roller. So it has a lot to do with the rigidity of the frame and how the machine operates. So there's quite a bit going on there. So I've got some 4130, and we're going to get started on this right now. Let's get down there and get going. Okay, for those of you that don't remember what that looked like, and it goes just about all the way around the tube there. That's the left side of the engine mount there, and the the longer item is for the chain roller. That's pretty well bent, so that'll be replaced also. I think maybe this one over here, we can probably weld it. It's not too bad, but we've got to replace this whole piece here. And there it is, terminating on the back side into the weld where the engine mount is. Okay, just before we start cutting here, what I've done is I just took a caliper, and I just got some approximate measurements here, and just made a note of them. And I just went from the outside of the tube here to the middle of the hole where the brake stay goes, and then the same thing from the same location, approximately where that engine mount's going to go. You know, once we get the engine in there, we'll hook both tabs to it, and we can locate it before we weld it. But you want to make sure that it's at least this side is where it should be before you start welding. And then I did the same thing with each one, coming from the same point, and this one here too. And what I've done here is I've put a piece of all thread, 1/2 inch all thread in here, and have not pulled that, but just brought it up to where it was snug here, and then tightened the outside, and that should keep this from moving. Should keep it to stay put for me when I cut this out. And I was kind of thinking maybe I should put another piece, and I may just weld a piece up here. Just you know, it's not going to hurt anything, and just to make sure that I'm holding everything where it ought to be. And then I'm going to cut I'm going to try it with a reciprocating saw because that'll be the quickest way to cut it out. And I just want to cut it out kind of at a straight here, and then I can come back in with my sander and cut out the old part of the tube where it comes into the weld. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So let me get a welder set up and we'll go ahead and tack this piece of square tubing up here also. If you remember right, if you've been following this, we put this we took a piece of tubing and opened it up, split it in half, put half of it on this side and half of it on this side. I believe it was on right around in here that there was a hole. So I just filled the hole and then we put this on the bottom. It's kind of like a little skid plate, and it also gives this lower tube some more rigidity. And the black stuff on there is POR-15, so I ran that underneath it so that I wouldn't have any rusting between the two metals. And once we get everything welded in that we need done, then I'll run urethane seam sealer right in these areas on both sides, and that way it'll keep the moisture from getting in there also. But right now I just want to sand off a little bit here on top so I can weld that piece of that square tubing. It's 1/2 inch square tubing. Weld that on there just to give it a little more rigidity. I really don't think this is going to allow it to go anywhere, but we'll just put it in there just in case. I'm going to try the reciprocating saw. You know, a whiz wheel will take a long time, and you know, it's just, there's just a lot more sparks and all that. So I'm going to try the recip saw. If that doesn't work, then we'll go back to the whiz wheel. All right, that ought to do it. And before we take anything out, we'll just go ahead and take a couple of pictures of it, just so we know we have a reference if we need it. All right, let's see if I can get her done from there. Thanks, guys. Don't forget the thumbs up. Got a lot of bracketry here. Let's see, maybe it's better off this way. That's one side. There we go. There's a little bit of rust in that thing. Okay, so let's so that didn't move at all. I got the width of the saw blade on both sides, and that's about all we've got there. So it looks like it stayed put. Now what I want to do is just go ahead and sand these down. When I put these, when I cut the new piece, I'll fish mouth it on both sides so that it will just slide right in here as tight as we can get it. But we'll go ahead and remove what's left of the old tube with the sander. So this is about 120 wall, 4130, according to their sales brochure. The frames were 4130, so that's what we've got here. And got a piece, cut it a little bit long, so I'll have some room to fish mouth it on each end. Should be all right. I'm going to get this started with one of these notchers. Makes pretty slick work of it. Okay, this is kind of where we're at. So we've just got to massage it a little bit. So I'll do that on the grinder for a while, and then I'll probably end up doing it with my die grinder. But we'll see. Okay, we've got it tacked in. We'll go ahead and cut the brackets off of the old one and get those prepped, and then we'll set the engine in there and see if we can get everything lined up. Okay, my plan is to cut this one off and then this one. And when I get to this one, I'll probably have to do something different because the brackets are keeping it from twisting. That's something you got to be careful with when you're cutting on a bandsaw with a round material. So I may have to cut these by hand, this last one by hand. This here, for the brake stay, we'll just cut a piece out towards the top and set it in there just like this and weld it in. So I'll first cut this side of it and then I'll cut the other side. Okay, I've got these. We'll be making a new one of these because it's been into so many times. This is the engine bracket, and I got the other one mostly severed here. I'm just going to take a hacksaw and cut this last piece. We don't want to end up breaking a blade or something because of that. And we'll just make a new one of these. But that's all the pieces out of there. I believe this is where all the crack was. Yeah, I think you can see it there. Most of it anyway. Okay, I just flipped this over and got my position for the brake stay. And this is how it looks here. So it's kind of comes out the top. So I'm going to shoot for something close, but it doesn't have to be perfect. That has got a Heim joint on it, and it can move however you want it to move. So I'm going to try to position it right about there. I don't know, I think I can go higher on that. Because I want it to come out of the top. Yeah, I believe so. Let's move it up here. Well, get in there. Afraid I'm running out of room here. I'm too close to this piece. And I've just about pulled that as far out as I dare. I may actually have to pop the spot welds and finish it. Okay, I went ahead and pulled it back out, and actually I had to drill it from the other side. I was bottoming out in the bottom of the cutter, so I just can't get all the way through. So what I'm going to do is, since I've come in from both ways, I'm just going to take the whiz wheel and finish the job right there at the top. Okay, I just cut that out, then I go ahead and cut through with the cutter, and that should give me a round. So I'll be putting, I believe it's a 1/2 inch round piece of stock in there with about a 5/16 hole through it. I'll get the exact same or exact measurements, but that's what they had in there basically. You can see how it goes kind of through the top, and then they just weld around it. So I think that's going to work out pretty good for us, and that's just about on size for that. So I'll go ahead and grind my spot welds back off. Boy, am I ever glad I did this before I got it welded in the frame, because I I think I would have just had to cut this out with the whiz wheel. Even had to use it a little bit this way, but we overcome. Okay, I've got it positioned back in here. Pretty much the center line is my white marks here, so that's what I'll line it up with before I re-weld it. And of course the piece is over here. That's where we're going through. That's on the right side, so I think we're in good shape. The rest of the brackets and whatnot that go on there are right here. And like I say, I just cut this one out so that this way here, so I could get it off of there. So what we'll do is we'll position these where they need to go, but I've got to clean out here to make this fit, because remember, the tube is still there, so it's going to come up. So we'll just I'll probably just kind of cut it, this one like that, and then I'll work on getting it to fit that tube. And of course this piece here, I'm going to remake that one. This chain's been into it, it's bent, so we'll rework that one, or remake that one. So let me get this tacked back in. Okay, we need to make our replacement tube here, and we're at about 1.3 and 350 and 564, something like that. So this is the heim joint that goes in there. So that's what we need to fit in. And the rest of it just gets inserted in there and welded. So this is the material I had. This is about 5/8. So I'll have to trim down the in or outside quite a bit. But in as far as the hole goes, we're just going to use an 11/32. That should be pretty darn close. So let's get with that. going for about 5 point, or a point 562 rather, on the OD. So there we go. We'll just weld it like they did. Okay, this one here, I was lucky I could see it on this side. So what I did was I just put some Dykem on here and lined up the center of the hole and scribed around it. And I'm going to try to take this over and put it on the mill and just cut that back out. Okay, I'm hoping this will hold her down. I've got a sacrificial piece of aluminum underneath it, and I've just got this centered on here, hopefully. And it's the way I cut it with the reciprocal saw, it's a little thicker on this side, so it doesn't really matter. We'll get down to it and get it all the way through. Once we get into the aluminum, we're through it, so that should be all right. I believe you're going to notice the cut over here first. On this side here. way it's starting to cut there all the way around now. We're pretty close. Looks like just about got it. There it is. I'll let that cool off a little bit and then we'll get it out of there. Okay, let's get that one out of there. Okay. There's that one. And there's that one. Just about right, I think. Okay, I've got the engine all tightened up in there, and just kind of looking here. The flat portion of your tabs go to the engine. You've got a rounded edge. Evidently, when they punched them, they probably punched them out, so it's kind of rounded on the top, and they actually go with the flat part towards the engine. Okay, I've got them marked here, so white is out and back, and in line with the engine here. And the same with this one. Flat part in towards the engine. Just like that. I don't want them completely tight. You want to be able to get the engine in, so you want just a little space, and then when you tighten them up, it pulls it together. Of course, when you weld them, whichever side you weld on first is going to be, it's going to pull it. Okay, so I think that's right. I don't need that in there. Thanks, guys. Don't forget the thumbs up. You see we're all bolted in. So I think we're in good shape. So our next thing is to tack those. Okay, you can see there how everything matches up relatively well. And here's the other side. Just a little bit looser, but not much. It's okay. Got room for the weld to get between the tube and the bracket. I thought maybe it'd be easier to do it from the bottom, to tack it in. I'm just going to tack on these tabs right here. And that should keep it straighter than doing it on one side or the other. Okay, the bolt came right out. It was upside down, so that's plenty of slop. A little tight there where it goes around this spring catch, but it goes right in there. Wow, it's 5:30 in the afternoon. We just got dumped on. Little thunder shower, I guess. We're going to weld this up, or at least start welding it. Okay, I've got the bottom and the sides welded here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this stiffening piece out. Okay, really the last thing we need to do with this part of the project is to make the chain roller support, whatever you want to call it. I've got a piece of metal here. It's just a little thicker, and that's okay. We're at about 103, and this one is at 128. So a little thicker is a little better in my opinion, because this seemed pretty thin to me, almost like a knife after the chain got through with it there. I put some Dicom on here, and I went ahead and kind of drew it out. And first thing I'm going to do is drill the hole, and we'll weld the nut on when we get done with it. But the first thing I need to do is drill that hole. before I cut it out. Right now it's easy to hold. Okay, so we've got our new bracket made. Got our nut welded on here, just like they did. They didn't weld it, they stamped it in there, but I think we're ready to go. I've got my roller on here, about where it needs to go. So really all we need to do is tack it on. And it was only tacked, or it was only welded on the outside. I'm going to try to get it on the inside too. I really think that's where the crack started. I think it was from this roller. I've still got to repair this one here. I think I can just, it's got a little weld or a little crack right here and one on the bottom. I think I can just TIG those up and it'll probably be okay. But we've got the placement right, so I guess it's up to getting it welded or at least tacked on, and then I'll pull the engine out and try to TIG what I can. It's just easier to tack with the MIG welder. And just in this case, I just tacked the tab at the front. That should take care of it until I can get it apart and get the backside. And that'll be underneath here. Okay, there's just one little spot I couldn't get to. It was kind of in the middle right here. But I did get it on both sides, and the original one was only welded over here on this side. And I can see why. You know, maybe I should have, no, I don't think so. If I had put this on before this, then it would have not gotten a complete weld. So I think it's just fine how it is. And I did have to MIG this in order to get what I got there, so it is what it is. But we're all good to go. Looks a lot better than it did. Let me get you a little closer. Okay, this is everything that we replaced, and it was cracked pretty good. I think we cut out the crack, yeah, right here. And there was a little bit that was hanging onto this piece that was cracked pretty good also. So I'm pretty happy with it. It was basically this whole support all the way over. It's an engine mount. You bolt up the brake stay here and the chain roller right here. Okay, let's see if the engine goes back in there. I think that maybe goes the other way. And so it fits good. When we squeeze it up the first time, it'll, you know, then it will bend those on in. But it's fitting good there. It's fitting good at the top, and we didn't even mess with that. It's probably even looser up there than it is at the bottom. All right, let me get the brackets on the front. Bolts in both of those. and through the bottom and through our frame here. So I think we're good. All right. There's with our chain roller, and here's our brake stay. Okay guys, there you have it. Repairs on our RM400 frame are complete. It's been pretty intensive, the amount of work that we had to do. But that's just, I mean, these were race bikes, and they were just beat the crap out of, most of them. And this one was no exception. We had a hole underneath here, and then we put the reinforcement on the tube, kind of acts as a skid plate in a way for the tubing. And we replaced the whole lower rear mount. That includes the chain tensioner, chain roller, the rear brake stay. So this whole piece came out, and we completely rebuilt it from scratch with 4130 tubing. And most of it's TIG welded. I did, as you saw, I did most of the tacking with the MIG, and I had this this bracket here I had to MIG on the inside. Just sometimes you can't get to it. Another thing we did was, you probably can't tell it, maybe you can. We had to replace this threaded boss here because it had a bolt broke off in it. I just thought it'd be easier to make a new one and take it off and re-weld it than trying to get that stupid bolt out. So we did that, and I think that's it. We had just the seat bolt there, the lower rear here with the roller and the brake stay, and then the reinforcement underneath. So it's been pretty intensive, but we got there, and now I can go ahead and get this sealed down here at the bottom with the urethane sealer, and get it shot with some black paint, and then we can start building this up. We already have the engine built, so it's pretty much just getting into the suspension, the forks. We've already got the tapered bearings up in the steering head, so all that's been done. We had to remove a little bit of material from the steering up here. Just look back through the playlist if any of that stuff, if you don't think you caught that one and you need to. So I think that's it for this, for the time being. Probably the next time you see this frame, we're going to be building her. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.